Shariratrayam, our three bodies, and the subtlest and the most mysterious amongst them.
तपोभिः क्षीणपापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्ष्योऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते.
Okay, so the individual, an individual person, can be classified in different ways. So this is how traditionally it is done in Vedanta and in yoga. So the individual consists of the Atma and Anatma. So Atma is the consciousness principle. Anything about the individual that is not Atma is called Anatma. Anatma means that which is not Atma. So Atma is the consciousness, Anatma is anything other than consciousness, loosely put, matter, energy, everything. Our body and the different forces, they call the pranas, everything. The mind is also subtle matter. So it all comes under Anatma. And just like we classify people as men and women, young and old, short and tall, etc., 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 we can classify an individual in three significant ways. This is how it's done in Vedanta. Based on the raw material. So Shariratrayam, the three bodies. This is a classification based on the raw material. Then Panchakoshaha, the five sheets. Sheets are like layers. So it is classification based on personality or the quality, physical, emotional qualities, etc. Then you can classify as avastatrayam. So the three avastas, the three states of experience, like waking, dream. So this is classification based on the states of experience. Now let's look at Shariratrayam, our three bodies. This is classification based on raw material. So our bodies are classified into three parts. One is the Sthula Shariram. It is the tangible body, that which we can feel and others can see, perceive, and feel. It's also called the gross body. There's nothing gross about it. It's just, it is not fine. It's not subtle. Opposite of subtle is gross. It is used in that context. Then Sukshma Shariram. Sukshma means subtle. So this is the subtle body. Then there is this mysterious entity called Karana Shariram. Karana means cause. It is therefore called the causal body. It's not the casual body. It is the causal body. Then there is classification based on the personalities. So this is Panchakosha. The body can be divided into 5 layers based on personalities. Panchakosha, the 5 sheets. There is Annamaya Kosha, the physical body. Anna is food, that which comes from food. That's a physical body. Pranamaya Kosha, the pranic body. We have the 5 pranas, prana, pana, udana, samana, and vyana. Then Manomaya Kosha, the emotional body. Then Vijnanamaya Kosha, the intellectual body. Finally comes the Anandamaya Kosha, the bliss body. This may not be evident to many people, so we'll cover that in detail later. Later, we will also see that the Anandamaya Kosha, which is a bliss body, is the same as Karana Shariram, which we saw here. It's exactly the same. So it's just different ways of classification, but in the one of the categories in the first classification is same as one of the categories in the second classification. So the Annamaya Kosha. So we're now trying to relate these two classifications, the classifications based on raw material and classification based on personality. So the Annamaya Kosha is a physical body. That's the same as the Sthula Sharir. And we'll see the definition. Then the Sukshma Shariram essentially consists of the mind, prana, all these. It all these three sheets come in the Sukshma Shariram category. That is the Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, and Vijnanamaya Kosha. Pranic body, emotional body, and intellectual body. So this in this classification, all these three are equivalent to the Sukshma Shariram. And Anandamaya Kosha, bliss body, as we already saw, it is the Karana Shariram. Then there's the final way of classification. It's not the final way, the more final significant way of classification is the Avastatrayam, the three states of experience. Jagrat Avastha, waking state, Swapna Avastha, dream state, and Sushupti Avastha, deep sleep state. This is the deep sleep we'll see later. It's the closest experience of the Karana Sharira, and we'll see why. Now let's look at the Shariratrayam. So that is the topic of this presentation. Shariratrayam, our three bodies. And we'll take a special look at the Karana Shariram. So this is the classification based on raw material. The reason I got this presentation done is that very often this question is asked, where does the karma link? Because we are studying the Bhagavad Gita now, we're studying the 5th chapter. There it very clearly states Atma is akarta and abhokta. Na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu na karma phala sanyogam swabhavastu pravartate. So the karma does not stick to the Atma. By definition, Atma is nirvikaraha. It's no change. When karma stick, it's modified. So Atma karmas cannot stick to Atma. So where is the karma sticking? So the karmas, the good and the bad, punyam and papam, they all stick to the sukshma shariram, the subtle body. Remember, this is also anatma, which means inert. It is not conscious. So there is Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, and the Karana Shariram, which is the causal body. The karma cannot stick to the Sthula Shariram because Sthula Shariram is destroyed at the end of this life. But the karma travels to the next lives. So it cannot stick to the Sthula Shariram. Now, Swami Paramatmananda, he gives a beautiful example of the definition of the Sthula Shariram. So the Sthula Shariram is defined very clearly in Tattva Bodha. I don't want to quote the full definition, but I'll quote portions of it. It is Sukha Dukkhadi Bhoga Ayatanam. Ayatanam means abode or an office space, you can say, for transactions. What kind of transactions? Sukha and Dukkha. Adi means can be here, it's meant etc. It means mixed. So sukham, dukkam, and mixed transactions. So abode for transactions with the world. That is the ayatanam, which is the abode. That's the purpose of the body. So pleasurable, painful, and neutral. The three types of bhoga ayatanam. Bhoga is experience. And when you rent a place, you have to pay rent. In this case, you pay advance rent using previous janma punyam and papam, merits and demerits or sins. So you can see office space when there is a vacancy, and if you want the right matches with the kind of transactions the jiva, that is the sukshma shariram, wants to do, then it takes up occupancy in this office. That is, it's born as a fetus. Okay. So whichever office is suitable, that office would be occupied. You can see here, if it suits exactly what the Sukshma Shariram wants, then that Sthula Shariram would be occupied. And once the paid rent is over, the office space is vacated. So everything that was here is vacated. And a new office space for transactions is created elsewhere. So the office space also includes the right um, parents, right locality, everything. So it's all determined by karma. In the 6th chapter, that's why it says the yoga brashta, one who's not successful in this life, what is kam gati Krishna gachati? What's the fate of this person? Because this person has wasted both this doing worldly things, and he's also failed in the path of the Brahman. So what's the fate of this person? Arjuna asks, and Krishna says, don't worry, there's never a problem to the yoga brashta, because etadhi durlabhataram loke janma yadidrisham. So the yoga brashta is born in the house of the wise, the yogis, the great people, the noble ones. That's what happens. So the sukma shariram, because of its punya, it's done, it'll go into such places. But once the paid rent is over, that is the prarabdha karma for this lifetime is exhausted. Prarabdha karma is that portion of the karma which has started. Its palam has started. So once that is exhausted, the office space is vacated, and a new office space for transactions is created elsewhere. So karma janyam, it is born of karma. It's based on rent paid by these and the previous transactions. Whatever transactions you're doing now, and some of the transactions you've done in the previous lives, that would be the rent for the new office space after vacating this one. And like this, the cycle continues. And in the Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, Purushottama Yoga, it very beautifully says, Shariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramati ishvaraha grihitvaitani sanyati vayurgandhani vashayat shrotram chakshusparshanam cha rasanam ghranameva cha adhishtaya manaschayam vishayanupasevate. So once a life is over, shariram yat avapnoti, taking the sukshma shariram, it goes into the new body. Yacha, yada yata cha api utkramata ishvaraha. So here the jivas refer to the ishvaraha. That is the mind, the sukshma shariram, which is powered by the reflected consciousness, which we've seen in a previous video. That is, it takes up residence in a new sharira. And what does it do? Shrotram, chakshu, sparshanam, cha, all the hearing, sight, touch, all these, rasanam, taste, gram, all these, which the mind uses all this to vishayan upasevate, to experience the objects of the world. So that's what to do. That's the transactions that's talked about. So next comes the Sukshma Sharira. So we talked about the office space. Who rents and who vacates the office space? It is the subtle body. Strictly speaking, it is the subtle body powered by the reflected consciousness. It's also called the Jiva, because without the power of the reflected consciousness, the subtle body cannot do anything. It's inert. It can't go from one place to another. So in the previous shloka we saw, like the Vayur Gandhani Vashayat, like a wind carrying away smells. In the previous one we saw, right, the transactions. So Shariram yadavapnoti yachapukramati grihitvaitani sanyati vayur gandhani vashas. Just like the wind transporting this scents everywhere, like that, it just takes all these from one place and it goes to the other place. So the entire mind-body complex is vacated and taken somewhere. In the this is the entire Sukshma Shariram does that. So Sukshma Shariram is called the subtle body. It consists of 17 elements. Some people include Chitta and Ahankara as the 18th and the 19th. Some people, here in Tattva Bodha, it's combined. So Manas and Buddhi alone are mentioned as parts of the mind. But of the 17 elements, there are 5 pranas, which we saw: prana, pana, vyana, udana, samana. The 5 organs of knowledge: jnana, indriyani, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. 5 organs of actions. So the jnana, indriyani are all hearing. It's not the golakam, it is the internal, the power of hearing in the mind. Sparsha, touch; rupa, visuals, form, that is seeing; rasa, taste; gandha, smell. And the 5 organs of action: the karma indriyani, vak, speech; pani, hands; padam, feet; payu, the excretory organ; anus. Then the upastha is the um, reproductory power. So it's not the physical organ; it is the reproduct. It is the power that um, that makes all these happens. That's the subtle body. Then 2 or 4 parts of mind: manas, buddhi. Some people include chitta and ahankara also. So the punyam and papam, as I said, clings to the subtle body. They do not cling to the atma. And then comes one of the most abstract entities. In fact, there are 2 very mysterious and abstract entities in yoga and Vedanta. One is the atma, other is the karana shariram, the causal body. Karana is cause, karyam is effect. So the karana shariram, it's subtler than the subtle body. It is the seed for the other 2 bodies. So this is the word. When you think about karana shariram, just think of a seed. From the seed, the entire universe comes. From the seed, the body, everything comes. So it is not the physical sperm and egg. No, it is not that. It is something much more subtle than that. And to understand Karana Shariram better, we have to first look at the durations. So let's look at the durations of the 3 Sharirams. The duration of the gross body is 1 lifetime. That is the physical body. We know it's 1 lifetime. After that, it's no use. The duration of the subtle body is from Srishti, which is creation, all the way to Pralaya. And of course, in between, if you get moksha, then it's fine. You get to solve. Moksha is liberation. From Srishti, creation, to Pralaya, which is dissolution. That's the lifetime. After that, subtle body itself is gone. But the karma, the papa, punyam and papa, pala, karma palam, they are resolved into the seed called the causal body. So the causal body is ageless. It is time immemorial. It is dissolved only at moksha. And the subtle body resolves into the causal body at pralaya. So in the 9th chapter, it's very clearly mentioned. Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpadau visrujamyaham prakritim swamavashtabhya visrujamyah punah punah bhuta kramam imam kritsnam avasham prakriter vashat. All beings, O son of Kunti, reach the Prakriti, the nature belonging to me, at the end of the dissolution of a kalpa, era. We said, right? From Srishti to Pralaya, that is 1 kalpa. I send them forth again at the beginning of a kalpa. Kalpakshaye punastani kalp adav visrjamyaham. Controlling my own Prakriti, I send forth this entire multitude of beings necessarily by the force of Prakriti. So, at the time of pralaya, everything resolves into the seed. This is called the causal body. And experiencing the 3 sharirams. The sthula shariram, gross body, is perceptible to both us and others. The sukshma shariram, subtle body, is not perceptible to others. People can't read your mind, but portions of it are available for perception by us. The closest experience of the karana shariram, the causal body, is in deep sleep. That is it's not deep sleep, but it is in deep sleep you come close to experiencing the causal body. So we're talking about the causal body here because this is a very mysterious entity, as mysterious as the Atma. The Karana Shariram is the link between ignorance and Karana Shariram. The Karana Shariram is equivalent to ignorance. What ignorance? Ignorance of the nature of the self. It exists. The Karana Shariram exists because of this ignorance. Now we'll see three ways how to see the equivalence of the Karana Shariram and ignorance. We know from the study of yoga and Vedanta text, reason for the cycle of births and deaths, that is called samsara, is ignorance of the nature of the self. As long as there is ignorance, there is samsara. Similarly, as long as there is Karana Shariram, there is samsara. So this is the first equivalence. Both ignorance, Karana Shariram, as long as they're there, samsara continues. And in fact, we can go one step and say, it is only when ignorance is removed that there is liberation. So, and you can also say, only when Karana Shariram is dissolved, there's complete dissolution. So, ignorance and Karana Shariram are equivalent. Only when the ignorance is removed through knowledge, knowledge of the nature of self, moksha occurs. Similarly, dissolution of the Karana Shariram only happens at moksha. That is, both ignorance, as I just stated, both ignorance and Karana Shariram disappear only at moksha. Okay, so previously we saw as long as there is ignorance, there is a samsara. And we are saying the end of that dissolution of the Karana Shariram happens only at moksha. Similarly, when ignorance is removed through knowledge, moksha occurs. So both ignorance and Karana Shariram disappear at moksha. And it's only through removal of ignorance through knowledge you can get moksha. This shows the equivalence between the two. Then the third link, both are bliss states. This is interesting. There is a English usage, ignorance is bliss. Similarly, the closest experience of the Karana Shariram is in deep sleep, which we know is bliss. Who doesn't love deep sleep? That's why the fifth sheath is called Anandamaya Kosha, the bliss body, because this sheath is nothing but the Karana Shariram, and it is equivalent to ignorance. So Karana Shariram is bliss, ignorance is bliss. So the three factors showing the equivalence of the Karana Shariram and ignorance. So it is time immemorial. Karana Shariram never started. It was there. It is ageless, as old as Maya. Maya and Brahman, these are the two entities. Maya is dependent on Brahman, and it's ageless. Similarly, Karana Shariram is also ageless.
दिग्देशकालाद्यनपेक्ष्य सर्वगं चेतादिहृन्नित्यसुखं निरञ्जनं यस्वात्मतीर्थं भजते विनिष्क्रियः स सर्ववित् सर्वगतो मृतो भवेत्। ॐ